Why have you not asked?
I just want to make sure y'all can see me. All right, we're getting everyone in here, so just hang tight for us. Email access. Sorry.
Rebecca, do you want to make me co-host so I can assist you in omitting?
Yes, hold on. I keep forgetting to do that.
It's all good.
Eventually, by the end of the day, I'll get it right. Hold on. There we go. Shannon, if you would, also with Karen and Ty would be great. Wait, I got him.
I'm here.
Hey, Karen.
Okay, everyone.
Yay.
Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it very much. I know everybody's been very excited about this physician training. Let me see who is in the house here. I do see Marty Pattinson. Will you say hello as our past president? And who else do we have here? I'm looking at Hollywood Squares. Trying Sharon Eddings. Say hello to Sharon Eddings, also a past president. If there are any other, and then our 2020 president, Cheryl Hunter, is here. Please give a big hello to our 2020 president and 2021 state liaison. Am I missing any of my past presidents? And I've already taken the time to introduce my team to you. So we're going to move along in the interest of time and so that we can cover everything that we want to cover today. So I want to give a chance to all of the presidents to go and introduce themselves, but we are so tight on time. I'm going to go ahead and go past that and move on. So first of all, we want to talk about what National's role is. So as Eileen told you, really the easiest way to talk about what National's role is to train and facilitate the states. We are the ones who are responsible to the local networks. They are the ones responsible primarily to the state networks and to the at-large members, but we are directly responsible for you at the local network level. The state's role, as I just mentioned, as the trainers and facilitators to the local networks, our roles have quite a broad, encompassing level of responsibility. First of all, we're your resource. We're the ones that have the training materials, most up-to-date models, and we are the ones who are responsible for developing the policies and procedures. We are the ones who make it possible for you all to share ideas. So we are the ones who plan, like we have been doing. Miss Cheryl did this year an excellent job of facilitating many opportunities for us to share ideas on Zoom since we're not able to meet in person. So we try to do that with you also by meeting with the district vice presidents. And then making sure that those district vice presidents are meeting with you to share with you what's going on across the state and give you all ideas about what you might do for your local networks. We're going to be doing monthly trainings the first and third Wednesdays. We did some of that this year where we actually train the officers and the local network presidents, as well as offer statewide training through things like happy hours or lunch and learns. We try to give you access to our strategic partners and give them the opportunity to conduct trainings and informative presentations for you all to attend. We keep a library of systems. So this year, Cheryl is facilitating with one of our past presidents, Carolyn Sutherland, a project to turn the Women's Council of Realtors Texas website, wcrtexas.com, into a repository where you will be able to find a lot of the things that we know you are looking for and we know that you need to have at your fingertips. WCR.org has a lot of great resources that you need to become familiar with, but we are going to try to put everything into a repository, connect those links to our WCR Texas website as well, and make it where you have someplace to go to find what you're looking for. Quarterly business training sessions, as I mentioned, by outside trainers and our strategic partners. That would be your lunch and learns. That would also be other presentations that we put on from time to time to keep you relevant in not only in Women's Council and with what's going on in Women's Council, but also just keep you relevant in the industry. We're always interested in the relevance that we have in our industry as well. Our reputation is very important to Women's Council, along with the branding that was shared with you in the protocol session that Eileen gave you. If you check in your manual that you all unquestionably, if you haven't printed it yet, the one that was attached to your invitation for today, in the very last section called Other Resources, you will find that branding manual. It is also, of course, on WCR.org. We maintain yourbox.com. This year, Claudia is our Chief Officer of maintenance for that box.com account. That is not yourbox.com. That's the state's box.com. You will be putting certain documents into your box.com account. The president of each network is the chief CEO of this effort, making sure that these documents are maintained. If you want to share your statebox.com link with anyone in your board, say you would like to give it to your secretary so she can put agendas and minutes in there for you, or you'd like to share it with the treasurer so they can put their charter letter and IRS filings, certainly do that. But we share the link with the president, and the president is then responsible for sharing it with who she thinks she needs to share it with in order that those items do get put into the statebox.com. Please do not use the statebox.com as your own box.com account, because if you do, each year we change who has access to it, and you may lose access to all of your documents. So you want to have your own cloud storage for your documents. As I mentioned, we maintain WCRTexas.com, and we also maintain a social media presence for Women's Council Texas, which of course gives you an opportunity to have a place to help us by posting your upcoming events and making it possible for our members and other people interested Because remember, we have future members visiting WCR Texas as well, the WCR Texas Facebook page. So we want you to have a broader opportunity to get exposure for your events and make sure that you do like and frequent the Women's Council of Texas Facebook page for that reason. And we train and support the positions throughout the year. So as many of you are familiar, we have 2 state meetings a year. One of those meetings is always in our winter meeting is always in Austin. The meeting that takes place, that is our annual meeting that takes place later in the year, is always in August or September, and it changes locations around Texas. This year, that meeting, I am very excited to say, is going to be in Houston. And the reason that is so such a significant occurrence is because I, of course, am in Texas. I mean, in Houston. And so for it to be in Houston means that we can bring you a really fabulous networking event and meeting here in Houston, where Patty resides, Cheryl resides, and I reside. So we have a lot of connections and contacts here, and we will be able to do some pretty cool things. So stay tuned for that. That is the first time it's been in Houston in many years, probably 20 years. So that was very serendipitous. But just remember that every year the annual meeting is someplace different. And we maintain a calendar, so you can always check the calendar out on WCRTexas.com. And on that calendar, it will tell you where that annual meeting will be taking place each and every year, along with everything else that you need to know, the dates for everything else. We conduct our orientations usually in the month of September. The orientation for 2021, which will be for the 2022 officers and local network presidents, will be conducted by our president-elect, who automatically succeeds to president. That is Patty St. Louis. She will be the one who will spend this year doing all of the planning and getting everything ready for you the way that I have done this year. So stay tuned for Patty's plan. Obviously, right now, we don't know. We started out 2020 with a in-person world, and we had to go to a virtual world. And now we're starting out with a virtual world, and we don't know if we're going to be getting to go to a personal world. So it's like starting opposites. And Patty now doesn't know which way to plan. So like me, she's probably going to have 2 plans. So stay tuned. We will be bringing you more on that by later in the year. So we try to provide additional opportunities for all of our leaders. As Eileen mentioned to you in her presentation for protocol, we try to give podium opportunities to our leaders, to have the opportunity to introduce dignitaries and presenters, as well as take on other positions. There are often opportunities during the meetings in the winter and at the annual meeting, as well as the National Association of Realtors, where we have been called upon to have volunteers to do things like be greeters or man the doors for the meetings, because we have elections going on and we need to make sure that people abide by the protocol for securing our elections and those kinds of things. If you see something come across your desk to ask you to take advantage of those kinds of opportunities, by all means, take advantage of those opportunities. If leadership identification and development asks you about submitting an application for an opportunity. Submit the application for an opportunity. Make it known that you are interested in learning more, doing more, and being more involved. We're always looking at you. We're always seeing who our emerging leaders are. If you're interested in being included as an emerging leader, be sure that somebody knows. Be sure that you let one of us know, your district vice presidents, your state liaison, or your leadership team in Texas. We want to know what your interest is on your leadership journey, and we want to try to help make your dream come true. So we also want to talk about communication. So the communication chain of command, as Eileen also mentioned to you, is who do you go to? Who is the person that you reach out to first? So the person that you reach out to first as a local network president is going to be your district vice president. So you contact your district vice president if you are in a need to know situation. If the district vice president doesn't know the answer, she will come to her leadership team or to the state liaison, and she will try to get you that information and get back to you if it is something that is of a more important level, such as an issue or something that needs individual attention. The leadership team will be getting together. We will make a recommendation about facilitating the solution for that, and we will likely involve the district vice president in following through and facilitating with that issue. So remember, whenever you have a situation where you need to make sure that you are being given the time that you need to have a discussion about a problem, an issue, circumstance, that you first go to your district vice president and make them aware of it. If they can help you right away, they will. The other thing I will tell you, if you have taken the time to put your standing rules and your bylaws into the statebox.com account, we will more readily be able to assist you, because what are we going to ask you about most things you come to us for? What does it say in your standing rules? That's the rules that you operate by. We can't answer the question unless we know that, because everyone's standing rules are different. So be sure to download those things that Claudia is going to ask you to download into the statebox.com so we can be more responsive to you. So we oversee your compliance. This is another reason why we want you to put these items into your box.com account. We want to be able to make sure that you're following the rules. As both Eileen and Becky said, knowing the rules and following the rules are two entirely different things. We want to make sure that you know the rules and that you follow the rules, and that we have consistency, and that Texas is here to help you make sure that you understand and know everything that you need to operate in compliance with the Women's Council branding and other rules that have been shared with you already this morning. And of course, she addressed the branding and the way that we use our brand. Remember that everywhere you go, you are now an officer of the Women's Council of Realtors, and you are held at a higher level, and looked at differently. So when you go places, be mindful of the image that you have. Now you are carrying an extra weight in your responsibility as an officer of this organization. So that would carry through to your social network presence, to your personal presence when you attend events outside of Women's Council. Everything that you do is, as Becky says, we can see you. So we want to be sure that one of the things about being a Women's Council leader and part of the journey is understanding and taking your responsibility as an officer seriously. So Cheryl, I'm gonna defer to you and let you talk about the state liaison role.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions, first of all, about some of the things that Peggy just shared? No? My job is really simple this year. Peggy's gonna get all the administrative stuff, all that, and I have like the fun part of the job. My job as state liaison is to oversee local network compliance, including the development of an annual plan and budget, and provide support where needed. So the first thing we're going to do, the first job that I have for you all is to sign your
Cheryl, I think you're breaking up.
is to sign your affiliation agreement. So that will be one of the first jobs.
Cheryl, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Cheryl, you're breaking up, darling.
No, I think, Peggy, we can hear.
No, she's not to you.
Yeah, I think maybe it's on your end because everyone's confirming we can hear her.
Okay. All right. Okay, got a little bit distracted. So again, one of the first things you all are going to do when you leave here is get together and plan a local orientation for your local network. And at that time, you're going to get together and make plans for the year. You're going to have your budget, which is due by January 10th. You're going to have a plan, at least for the first quarter, of what your programs will look like. And so you should invite the district vice presidents and or myself to attend that meeting if you would like, and we can facilitate you at that meeting. Our job is to just oversee and make sure you get that budget. Make sure if you have any questions, we are there to answer them, to help you develop programs, and again, to answer any questions that you might have. So please, usually some teams get together, they'll have a weekend event, a weekend away, or some people will get together and just have an afternoon. With the advent of our Zoom meetings, you guys can do it via Zoom in addition to, just getting away. As Peggy was saying earlier, one of my duties also, along with the district vice president, is you have any issues, any operating questions, we are there to assist you. The district vice presidents, they normally have 4 or 5 districts. However, I will be overseeing all 22 local presidents. I will be working primarily with the local presidents. I will work as a two-way communication between the state and national, and getting any information that national may have for you, and also that state may have for you. One of the things that Peggy talked about earlier is the working on the Women's Council Texas website. And so I would love to have any volunteers who may want to help with that. And what we're going to be doing is, first meeting and deciding how we would set up a repository for you all to have training videos, information on on, pardon me, any papers that you would need. If there were applications, for instance, the scholarship, all our events or all our documents will be on that website. So if anyone is interested in volunteering to participate on that committee, I would love to have your help. If you would just text me. But again, that's pretty much my job, to coach you all and to help you if you have operating problems and to assist you in getting your year started. So that's it, pretty much it. Any questions? No. Okay. You're on mute, Peggy.
I think you have pretty much covered what the district vice presidents do. Obviously, they're your first point of contact. More than likely, the district vice president will be going directly to Cheryl before it comes to us at the leadership team. She will make a value judgment about how that needs to be handled and what happens next. You, as the local president, your role to us is basically to keep us informed. We don't want to hear about something that's going on the street, if you will, from another network leader or even from a member. We really need for you to keep your district vice president apprised. Believe me, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. There are no stupid questions in our opinion. We want to hear from you about any and all things that might be brewing, or about questions that you might have, or anything that has to do with your network that you believe that we should know about. So the next person that I know, this is always tricky. What do you do when you are the president-elect? Well, Patty St. Louis is going to be my 2021 president-elect, and I have asked her to let you know what the role of local president means. Patty?
Thank you, Peggy, Madam President. And I'm going to start by saying, you showed up today, because Peggy, if something were to happen and you were not able to be here right now, who is in charge? Who takes over? Who fills the shoes? That would be me. So I speak to all of you presidents-elect that are getting ready for next year. Hopefully you are shadowing your president. Hopefully you are in all of the communications, because you're going to be president in a year, and you need to spend this time the way I'm going to spend my time, in learning as much as I can from Peggy and from Cheryl. And I watched Cheryl and Peggy do that all year this year. When we had to pivot because of COVID, Peggy and Cheryl just took the ball and ran with it, and they did it together, because you can't do it alone. None of us are going to do anything alone. We have a team, we have support, and we're to be here to help the team and support the team. And as president-elect, I went through all of the positioning, the general oversight, the major responsibilities. And several words keep popping out: assist, support, encourage, attend. Peggy and I talked this morning briefly. I texted her last night, is there anything you need? I'm done for the day. I've got time. One thing we talked about this morning, 2 words we added, and that is to prepare and to organize. So as president-elect, I'm going to be preparing for this event that we're having today, and we had a couple weeks ago, for a year from now. And it will, as Peggy said, literally take me the entire year to plan that event. And I'm looking for volunteers as well. Okay. So we're going to need a huge committee for the orientation for next year. Hopefully it'll be in person so we can all give hugs and love. So I'm going to, and we, all us presidents-elect, are going to fulfill the duties of the president as needed, which is my big shoe that Peggy is here today, because I will always be prepared with the agenda, with her podium manual, with everything that she has. I'm going to make sure that I'm ready to step in at any given moment, because that's what we are supposed to do. If you remember in September, Cheryl and Peggy, I was treasurer, and Cheryl and Peggy were in the past president's meeting, and we started the welcome session, and they were still in the president's meeting. So we had overlapping meetings. It was not anticipated, but we were prepared. And so I was able to open the welcome session and get things moving until our president was able to arrive. It was of no fault of anybody's. Things happen and we need to be prepared. Not only do we need to stand ready for when we're called on, but we need to ask. We need to ask our president, what can I do for you? What can I help you with? How can we delegate this? How can we ease your burden? Because it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, I gotta tell you. Strategic partners. We want to support our strategic partners throughout the year. We want to encourage our members to support our strategic partners throughout the year. We want to make sure they attend our meetings, that we acknowledge them when they attend. Let's see. Appoints the secretary, the local incoming president-elect. Have you all appointed your secretaries? I hope that's all done and you're helping secretaries to get prepared for next year as well. Supports the accomplishment of the network business plan, goals and priorities. You know, every network is different. We have 22 networks across Texas, and you're not all the same. We are very diverse. We're in different areas. We have different sizes of networks. We have different real estate communities. We're also completely different. So you each have your unique business plan. You each have your unique budgets. You each have unique agendas. You have unique events, and your memberships are very unique. So these are the things that are in our business plan that we're supporting throughout the year to make sure that our priorities are being met and that we're meeting our goals. So you're going to work very closely with your president along the way for that. Cultivate, encourage, and inspire members. I believe it was Peggy or Cheryl earlier that said, if you want to become a state officer, if you're interested in being a district vice president, if you want to chair a state committee, if you want to be on a project team at the state level, please let us know. And we also want you to be doing the same with your members, looking at your members. Where do they want to go? What do they want to do next year or in 5 years from now? I see Missy Starling shaking her head. She's got it. She knows where she's going, right? And you need that group of people, those relationships along the way to help you get there. And we want to do that for every one of you. Attend Leadership Academy. I am so excited. In August, I will be with you, all of the local presidents-elect. I will be there as well. We're going to get great information. It's a very special meeting. I know this year they opened it up to other members. I don't know if they're going to do that again for next year. I would have attended, but I had my toes in the sand at the beach. So sorry, guys, I wasn't there, but I'll definitely be there this year. We're going to also start working with your incoming president-elect next year after elections. Okay, so that's really important. This time of year next year, you immediately want to start working with the new president-elect so that she or he is learning right along with you. Again, you are to support your president. Be there in case she cannot fulfill her duties, and always be prepared. And like Eileen Oldroyd told us today, be a rock star. Let your president be a rock star. Help your president to be a rock star. This is such a special year to lead a network, and she needs your help. And you need her help to teach you how you can be a rock star next year. And with that, do we have any questions, or how about any stories? Anybody that has had to step in along the way? Any good stories out there? No? Okay, well, if you think of something, you let us know. And Peggy, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Patty. So I'll give you a story. Here's what you need to be prepared to say when people ask you about your why. So everyone here needs to have a story. You need to have your Women's Council story. I think you've heard me say that the reason I'm in Women's Council is because of the US Census. So then that's an intriguing statement, right? And people want to know, well, how in the world would the US Census be responsible for you being in Women's Council? They're not even related, so one would think. But as it turns out, the person who was the reason that I joined Women's Council, I knew not only because she and I were on the same international advisory group at the Houston Association of Realtors for many years together. And not only was she the president of the Houston network at the time, but in addition to that, she was on my list because she lives in my neighborhood and I was a census supervisor and I had to knock on her door. So as it turned out, I went to one of her meetings. I was impressed with what I saw. I went home and looked up this WCR.org on my computer, never even telling her or anything. I just joined by being impressed by going to an event. So, and the rest is history with respect to the Women's Council ask. Because she, when I knocked on her door, of course, asked me to be involved. So be sure and have your Women's Council story. The stories are so amazing and people join when they hear these stories. They're just so intrigued by how each of us did get involved in Women's Council. And the really intriguing part is that we are still here. And we are so incredibly involved and all in. And I will tell you, the more in you are, the longer you stay, the more you realize this is the most unique opportunity of any you're ever going to get, to actually have people be interested in helping you become a better leader and a better professional. There just does not exist such a hands-on kind of one-on-one opportunity for developing those skills. So I will tell you that as someone who keeps on keeping on in this organization, the further that you go, the more you realize what there is to get by being involved in this experience. So develop your Women's Council story. You all are leaders now. Put the logo in your email signature. Be proud of it. I also have a link in my email signature where you can click and join Women's Council. And so when someone asks me about it, I tell them, let me send you an email right now and you can click at the bottom of my email and join. And now we're in touch. I have their email address. I can follow up with them. I copy the local networks that I think might be suitable choices for them and make sure the presidents know, hey, I just met this person. And I really think this person is Women's Council material. They're a realtor from this area. Will you reach out to them and invite them into your network? And I know many of you have received this kind of email from me, especially Houston, which I do all the time and have been doing ever since I became a state officer at the district vice president level. So I can tell you, once you have your story, once you intrigue people, once you start meeting other realtors that are not women's council members yet, when you tell your story, they're going to get interested. They're going to really want to be a part of what you're a part of. And when they see how inviting you are and how much that you encourage them and want them to be a part of this, you can dispel this myth about, why do I want to belong to an organization full of other realtors who are in competition with me? Soon you realize that, first of all, they're not in competition with you at all. There is plenty of real estate out there for all of us to sell. People do business with people. People like you, and so they want to do business with you. So there is plenty of opportunity for everyone, and sharing what we know just makes our industry better and makes the perspective of a realtor better in the industry as well. So that's who we are. We make more than 2 times the national average of a women's council of realtors, as a women's council of realtors member, just member, never mind you all at the level you're at. And you will see, as the local network president, that when there are opportunities for referrals, you're going to be called. You're going to be the one that they're going to call. They're going to look up, who is the president of that network? I'm going to call them. And you may not, many times I get called and they give me an opportunity for a referral. And just recently, someone offered an opportunity for a referral to me. It was in Cheryl's area. So I gave it to Cheryl, and she took care of them with kid gloves. I knew she would. And that's what comes to us as we climb this ladder of leadership. So be prepared for the referrals. They will come, and be prepared to give those referrals. When someone says to you, like someone did last night at a table sitting next to me at a restaurant, they said, my mother's house I need to sell it, and it's in another part of Texas. And I said, not a problem, I will help you. And I handed them my Women's Council of Realtors president card along with my real estate card and said, you call me, I will get the right person to help you sell your mother's house. So those are the kinds of opportunities we need to be prepared for. And we need to make sure we have our Women's Council story ready. So I will just tell you that our role with you this year is going to be one of getting to know you. We're very excited about your installations. Any of you that need to invite any of the state officers to install you, speak at your event, or attend, I will tell you I received a personal invitation for an installation in the US mail. This is a very nice thing to do. It's not necessary, but certainly if you have the budget and you want to do hard copy invitations, they're very nice. Don't we all love receiving either handwritten notes or cards that were addressed to us by hand? This is a very nice gesture. It's a formality. Again, we are a cut above. So when you're planning and when you're thinking about what you're going to do in an event, remember those little nuances can make all the difference in the world in the way that you are perceived by your fellow leaders, and certainly by those leaders that are above you and who are watching you. So when you plan your events, please, by all means, we'd love to be there. We'd love to help you. We'd love to appear. We'd love to speak. Whatever. Just let us know. There is a form that you can fill out to invite us. And as Eileen shared with you in the protocol, there is a system, there is a protocol that you use to do that. Become familiar with that protocol. That's on WCR.org, where you can find out about it. Again, if you have any questions, you need to know anything about protocol or the way things are done in Women's Council, call your district vice president. That is your first go-to person. That is the person that if they don't have the answer, they will get the answer for you. So we saved time in this session for questions and answers. We find that there always are a lot of those at this level. Please, again, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. So if you have a question, I would like for you to unmute yourself and ask your questions now, and we will try to help you get the answers. Anybody?
I have a question. This is Shirley.
Thank you, Shirley.
I was looking, well, this has been great so far, and I really have enjoyed it. And I was looking through the orientation book that was provided to us, and there is a section that I'm not sure if it's missing something. It's on the section 2. We've got the first cover, and then we have section 2, which goes into president and president-elect, and there's nothing there. And I'm assuming that it's kind of wrapped into the whole thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, the president-elect is actually the first section. So that page was probably just put in at the wrong place.
Okay.
Yeah, it should have been right away after the table of contents.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I'll go in and fix it. And then when you go to the link again, it will be correct. It's still the same link, but I can move that divider.
You might also want to know that the pages are backwards.
They're not
The sections, no, I mean the sections, because the numbers, as I printed them out, came out backwards. And so I redid the sections. The sections are good. It's just the page numbers are backwards.
Okay, well, that is something that happened with you. It is not,
Okay.
It did not come out that way for me.
Yeah, I might have printed it in reverse. My
Yeah,
mistake, but
because I
thank you for
noticed,
clarifying
when
that.
I printed it at my office, when I printed the program at my office, it did something squirrely like that.
I
But
will
here
fix
at
that
my
part.
house, when I printed it, it was perfect.
Okay, thank you so much for helping me with that.
Yes, and thank you for making me aware of the president's divider page.
Thank you.
And I am humid, by the way, just so everyone knows, and I'm going to make lots of mistakes. I have a tendency to go really fast. My brain just churns really fast. So I make mistakes oftentimes related to the speed at which I do things. So I appreciate all of the help I can get with telling me and making me aware. Hey, so don't hesitate. I am not one to take, valuable criticism or comments, feedback negatively at all. I love it. It takes a huge village to do my projects.
Yes, it does. And as your president-elect, Madam President Peggy, I and all of us will be here for you throughout the year. And can I say one thing? I just want to encourage everybody to attend all the sessions today. Even though you're president or president-elect or secretary or treasurer, we are purposely doing it this year so that everybody can attend all the sessions. Because you never know when you're going to have to step in, lean in, and step in, as Peggy says, and take care of something for someone else.
Thank you for that, Patty. Yes, I will tell you that we don't have themes anymore, but I can tell you that my theme statement is step up and lean in. So I'm going to be looking for everybody to step up and lean into the projects. I need commitment. Commitment equals opportunity for you. So by all means, when you're called upon to do something, be prepared to do it right. And if you come to a situation where you feel like you might be chewing a little more than a mouthful, don't hesitate to ask for help, because you got the opportunity to be in a position to be drinking from a fire hose. And you need to share that opportunity with someone else and give them a chance to learn as well. So that is how leaders learn, is they accept opportunities, step up into a place that's a little less comfortable than you'd like to be in. Like I will say to all of you, you all stepped up this morning, got dressed, got presentable on a Saturday morning when you might have liked to stay in bed and snuggle with the kitty or the puppy and not get up until 10. But guess what? That was not to be. This Saturday is Women's Council training. A great opportunity. And as Patty says, you do not want to miss what's happening next. So are we moving to another link at this time, Karen?
Can I
Hey,
make one
Peggy.
comment?
Please, by all means.
I know that some of you have some fears or concerns. And if you just make some notes during the day and give those to your district vice presidents, I'm telling you, you all are so fortunate, because all of those ladies have a wealth of information. They've all been in women's council. I know at least over 5 years, maybe there may be one, maybe Cindy, who's a dynamite, no matter how long she's been here. But if you have some questions, make sure you write those down. If you have any fears, just write them down and either talk to your district vice president about them. If
Thank
you're
you.
shy to ask questions here, just make sure you write everything down, and we'll make sure that you don't have any fears starting your new year.
We don't want you to have fear at all. So don't be afraid.
Hey,
Okay,
Peggy.
guys, we're. Mhm.
This is Tracy.
Yeah.
I was curious, is there an actual list of what the required documents that y'all want the presidents to make sure get uploaded?
Yes, you
into
can
law?
get with Claudia about that. You will be
Okay.
receiving everything you need to know. It's the same as last year, actually less than last year.
Okay,
So-
great.
All right, ladies, and Karen, I do believe we go to the next link. Is that not correct? So everybody go back to your email
That's
and click
correct.
on the next link. And the next link is going to take you after the break to the strategic partner session, where Sylvia Siebel will be taking us through information about the strategic partner. Thanks. See you there.